I don't believe it. I don't see anything that, I don't see any type of gasket up there. Isn't that something? And it doesn't look like this top bit pops off like that old style. Okay, so in fact, should I turn the, I don't even know if I should turn the water on. I don't think I should. I think the water, well, maybe I will. I've got my light set up here. I'm gonna have to take that out of here because I don't want, well, I guess I don't have to. I could, see, the idea is you just put that on there. Well, I'm gonna move the light just to be on the safe side. I'm gonna turn the water on and maybe it just shoots up through here, but I'm very surprised. This style is slightly different, and I don't see an actual way to get that exactly off. Isn't that odd? That's very odd to me, because that's where it was before. Okay, so I think we'll look at that a little bit more after I shut this off. I'm gonna actually disconnect that. See how the light's not as good in here without that there, but we'll see what we can do. Great, Charlie Brown. We're learning something together here, and I got my cup here. I'm gonna turn the water on, and in fact, it might shoot out of that too. So I'm gonna put that back down here. I don't think it will, but yeah, see, okay, that water's just shooting down there. Nothing, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand that. Obviously this has a different type of little gasket. Maybe it's something internal. I've shut the water back off. Okay, I'll get the light back on here. Okay, so we can move forward with this. Okay. All right, so we're back with the cap. Now remember, the directions said to do all that, but it did say just to check to see if there was anything in there, any debris or anything. Now when I read those particular directions for the brand new install, it doesn't say anything about pulling the cap off. It says only to pull the cap off like that if you need to clean out any debris, etc. Okay, so I'm going to get that back on there and lift this up and push it back to the right where it was before. Okay, right there. Make sure I got it all the way. That's where it was. Okay, right like that. That's where I think it was. Okay, right there. Yeah. Now see, before I turn it too far, but even there, it's not. This type is not going to do anything, to my knowledge. Okay. Now, right where it's at, I am going to, yes, isn't that different? This one slightly different than the other one. That is like that, okay? And so right there, I should be fine. I'm going to turn the water on now. I'm going to see how that goes. Okay, and it's refilling. And we're going to see where it stops, because I'll probably have to adjust it with that screw, right? But we'll just see what happens here. Okay, I got about 1 inch and a quarter or so. So I wanted 1/2 an inch, and I should have looked at this before. Generally, most of the time there'll be a mark on the side somewhere. Okay, this one might not have it. The old ones used to have a mark right at 1 inch. Let me get the old one and let's see. Let's see. Oh. I don't have this little pipe just on there, but okay, so if I want to raise that up, that means this float is too low, so I have to bring the float up higher, right? And in order to bring it up higher, I believe I just tighten this. I'm turning it, and that's raising that up. And so it's just going to be a little trial and error, and I wouldn't trust that all the way, because see, as I'm doing that, it's raising that. I'm going to have to give it a flush, and I'm not even going to let it flush all the way. I'm just going to push the flapper back down. Okay. Manually push the flapper down so that I only have to fill half of this up, so I'm only wasting half that water. And incidentally, this could be a good time for you to replace your flapper, but my experience is, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, this flapper could last many more years. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't, give me another chance to make another video on replacing the flapper. But I have those on my YouTube channel already. Okay, so now I got a little bit over 1/2 inch. And I'm pretty good at eyeballing. But if you want, you can take a tape measure and you can measure that. And I'm at 3/4. Okay, so I can turn this a couple, maybe 4 times, and see nothing's happening until I let some water out to get it to start filling up again. And then if I think this time is good, I'll do another full flush and see how well that is. Okay, it'd probably be okay at 3/4 of an inch. Like I said, years ago, I used to leave it 1 inch, because all the directions would always tell me leave it 1 inch. Now maybe after years of time, they've gotten too many complaints. Hey, my toilet's not flushing. I feel like I have to flush it more often than not, twice. And so they said, for the sake of argument, let's raise this up a half an inch, and we'll let people do it that way. 1/2 inch of water stress spanned over this entire area is not very much water. Okay, now I got closer to 1 inch. See, I'm about 5/8, and I'm good with that. I'm gonna leave it, because like I said before, I was at 1 inch. In fact, I know this particular toilet will flush fine with a little less water. So if I want, I can back it off, just 4 more twizzles. And there's a definite little click, click, click. Okay. You remember last time I did 4, it moved it from 3/4 to that short 5/8 that I just had. So at this point, it should be 3/4, and we'll see. Okay. It seems to be working fine without that cap. that was kind of odd. That was very odd, because I was surely expecting that rubber gasket. Okay. And see, now if I hold it there, I'm right at 3/4. Okay. So I wouldn't have it lower than an inch, because then maybe you're finding, yeah, son of a gun, I'm having to flush twice, and you raise up your toilet lid, maybe you're down 1.5 inches or 1 3/4, 2 inches. No wonder your toilet's not flushing all the way. So then you know how to adjust the float now and raise your water level up a little bit, okay? So now I'm going to give it a full flush, and I checked this nut to make sure it was tight when I started. It's always good now that you're working on your toilet. Look at this nut. If it's loose, you can tighten it up a little bit, or anything like that. Take a look at this, and I'm going to say everything's going to be fine on this go. But I always like to do a full flush at the last, after making adjustments and tweaks and all that. You see what I mean? This is coming out at the angle that it was before, so I know that this has been put back and I had it clipped in there properly. Should be going off here in a minute. There it goes. And I look at that, I'm down right at 3/4 inch. Okay? I got it, by Joe. And you know what? So did you. So now at this point, I'm gonna clean up everything. I'm gonna wipe down the floor. I'm gonna wipe down the toilet lid, the bowl inside. I've got my. I'm gonna rinse my sponge out. My sponge out right there. I'm gonna take my simple green. I'm gonna spray it down. Okay. I'm gonna take that, spray it down. I'm gonna get some clean water. That's clean, I could use that. I fill that up, and I'm going to put everything back together. Oh, look at the toilet paper. The toilet paper holder is just a little duck. Okay, I took the toilet paper out. I took everything out away from the toilet, so I kind of set it to where it was before, and I'm going to put that all back together and wipe it all down. Your job is not done until you clean up. I want this to look like I was never there, okay? Okay, I got everything back together. I forgot to put the toilet paper roll back on there. I got it all cleaned up, all sprayed down with simple green, wiped it all down, wiped down the inside of the bowl and all that kind of stuff. You want to make this look like you were never there. Okay, and give you a chance to check, make sure the lever handle's tight, make sure your toilet seat is tight. If you need to adjust it, pull up on these caps, realign this, tighten it back down if you need to do that. Now I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into everything. Okay, everything that I've said so far, when I looked on the directions, I was racking my brain like, okay, what's going on here? And see, they talked about replace fill valve seal right there. Well, this one didn't have a seal, did it? And this says replace seal with a genuine Fluidmaster 242 seal. So that seal is different than this other seal, and this seal was for the older style, and it was for the 400, 200, and 747 models. And the one I had was a 400 model, but today's 400 is different than years ago 400, and it's slightly different than even these directions, because it says there's a seal right in there when you take the cap off. Well, in my instance, you saw when I took that cap off, there was nothing attached to the cap, and there was nothing below the cap on top. And so I think they've even remodified it, but yet on their direction book, they didn't remodify the direction book. See, this is for a 400A fill valve. But yet the one we just put in did not have this whole seal there, and it still snapped on there, and I flushed it a couple times, and everything seems to be working fine, and that was not there. Okay? And so if yours has this, then you have to get a 242 seal. And I guess you can get those at the hardware store, but in our case, we didn't have to do anything with this seal. We didn't even see the seal on there. So, you know, different things to think about when you're replacing the toilet fill valve, especially the Fluidmaster, your old style Fluidmaster. You've got that seal in there, and I showed you how to take that off on the old style that I took off, right? And so you can replace that, or you can clean out the existing one to see if you can fix it that way, if it's leaking or if it's not shutting off. And if you don't have that style and you've got this style, you've got to get the 242 Fluidmaster 242 seal, okay? But in our case, we didn't have a seal at all. I did not see any seal at all whatsoever. And it looked like, after I took that cap off, I looked at it, it looked like all the other parts were all fixed on the top and nothing else could come out. So I think they've remodified even the new Fluidmasters from this direction booklet, okay? If you got any questions, of course, on this whole book, it gives you the install directions, and it also gives you an area in the middle of the book for troubleshooting, okay? And it also gives you a little how-to video. Look at that right there. You can look at that. If you don't want to watch any more of my videos, you don't have to. You can just watch that. But I hope you watch more of my videos, because I'm going to show you all kinds of stuff on how to fix things around your house, okay? And here's one more thing. Remember I told you they got the direction book, and to read the direction book, I did not read the direction book, did I? Because I thought for sure I knew everything on how to do everything. And when you look at this, it'll tell you, it'll show you all the directions, and it said for those nuts, this one here, it says, it said not to tighten it up too tight, not to over tighten it, because there's a certain thing on there where they caution you, do not over tighten. Okay, install lock nut, hand tighten only, do not over tighten. Okay, they tell you on the one that attaches this to the toilet tank, and then they also say for the valve, one that comes from the valve. Okay, here, attach water supply connector to fill valve, hand tighten only, do not over tighten for that one, and then the one for this, do not over tighten. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't tighten those up with my pliers, but you can always check it 15 minutes after the time. Look down there with a little piece of toilet paper or something like that on the floor, or put your hand down there and make sure that you got it as tight as you think, because if it's dripping, guess what? You haven't gotten it tight enough yet. Okay, so there's a few more tips for you. Ready for the next customer. Well, I'm glad that's done. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.